It's a blessing to welcome on one of the newest member of Arkansas. He redshirted this past year, but now will be ready for what will be his junior campaign. He was also a former third-team All-Sun Belt selection while playing for Arkansas Little Rock, and that's Kamani Johnson. How you doing, man?
Man, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. Take us through how you're feeling because you obviously start off the season on coming out to transfer to Arkansas, so you had to sit out this past year, but
Yeah.
kind of get the atmosphere. You get to understand Arkansas, you get to be around Coach Musselman, and now you get to go play for next season. But how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was just used to being in Arkansas anyway because I was in Little Rock. So when I kind of transferred here, it was kind of a really cool thing for me personally. Um, I know a lot of people from Little Rock was happy that I kind of stayed in state and they could come down to Faye and watch me play and stuff like that. So that was a pretty cool thing. Being down here, man, Fayetteville, I think is one of the best college towns in the country. The fans are crazy, but they're all good crazy, but they show the utmost type of love, man. And just walking around Faye, just meeting everybody, you really get treated like a rock star, but it's like a family kind of. So it's really nice. I really came down here because of the coaching staff. Muss is like, man, 24/7, it's basketball. So he's kind of the same way, like how I am. I'm real passionate about basketball. So you want a coach who's kind of passionate, and he definitely shows it. Like anybody who watches him or keeping up, Muss is probably one of the craziest, most enthusiastic coaches in college basketball. So you really got to love it.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're going to get back into Arkansas and all that kind of stuff on the end of this, but I want fans to get to know you a little better. So let's kind of head back. You're obviously born in Brooklyn, New York. Walk us through
Yeah.
that. What was it like growing up out there?
Yeah, I mean, in New York, it's just like the city never sleeps. You hear it. Just you're always busy doing something. You know what I mean? And then I come from like a big family. I grew up in a brownstone with all my cousins and stuff like that. So I just always stayed busy. If I wasn't doing one thing, I was doing another thing. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. And one of those people you got to grow up with is someone that I think a lot of people in the college world are pretty well known. He played in the NBA for a little bit, and that's your brother, Dakari. Walk us
yeah.
through with that because there's very few guys that get the opportunity to grow up with someone else that plays the thing that they love. So what was that like, kind of having Dakari in your life, being around you and helping mentoring you to a degree?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like when you have an older brother who's pretty much like led the road and showed you step by step what you have to do to be successful at the top level. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more. So Dakari is really like, bro, I'm just following the path that he blazed pretty much.
Mhm.
He's made it so much easier for me. And he's been a great big brother, a great mentor to me in this journey. And, he's still playing. He's still doing his thing right now in China. So with us, it's just like we just love watching each other play and grow and, you know, be successful.
Now, anyone that's got brothers knows that everyone always got to play the one-on-one game. So, got to take us through
Yeah,
that a little bit. When's the first time you
man.
beat him, or have you beat him yet in a one-on-one game?
I mean, yeah, I beat him in ones before. He probably gonna lie. Like if somebody asks him, he gonna say nah. But yeah, I haven't beat it. Like when I used to like grow up and stuff, he wouldn't let me. But once I got older, nowadays it's like I'm gonna win the ones. You feel me? But growing up, those games used to be intense. You already know. Like if you have a brother, if you're the little brother, you're either winning or you fighting. So usually our one-on-one games ended in fights, pretty much. But you know how it is when you got a brother, somebody's always going crazy about, like, I'm a sore loser too, so I don't like losing. So those games usually ended up in fights, really.
So, when was the first win for you? Do you remember when it was?
Man, probably like a couple summers ago, if I'm being honest. Like I was not beating him like when I was in high school or middle school. It was like when I got to college, that's when the game started getting like a little tough, when I started building my body up.
Now, how did he help you in terms of overall learning the game of basketball? Because obviously he's quite a few years older than you, so it can kind of help you in terms of
Yeah.
choosing your recruiting process, helping through that, kind of helping you just also develop aspects to your game. But where's like the biggest way you see him kind of help you on the court?
Yeah, I mean, just growing up watching him play. I mean, like I was just little, just going to like every little AAU game, every practice, every tournament. So you're just gonna learn from being around it, you know what I mean? And then just growing that love. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even really like basketball honestly until like maybe middle school, until like I figured out I was good at it. Man, basketball wasn't my thing. I used to play everything else. Like I used to play football, but like I used to play everything else except for basketball. But just being around him, seeing how successful he was, and just knowing that this is one thing that we could share together type thing. So any advice like during like when I'm working out, he stays on me. Like when we work out together and stuff, he never really lets me slack. If I have any questions about anything, he's always the first person with the answer that I'm probably listening to the most. So he's just been like a father figure kind of throughout my journey and all of this, like when it comes to basketball and stuff. So
What's the first memory that comes to mind? Is there one thing that comes to mind when you first think of him?
man, I mean, just like, just growing up, just all the childhood memories. But if we're talking like basketball wise, like his years at Kentucky were very memorable. I mean, his freshman year, they went to the national championship and lost. And then his sophomore year, they like went, like 31-0, or it was something crazy like that. But just watching up, growing that, seeing that, like, when you go to college, you want to mimic, like, man, I remember watching those games, like, they're not going to lose a game in college basketball. So that was just crazy. It was enjoyment to watch. And then, just being around your big brother all the time, if you have a big brother, you're going to have memories and stories to share for a lifetime. So.
You had a lot of posts on your Instagram about growing up in Kentucky, watching all those games. But was
Yeah.
your brother your favorite player to watch, or was it someone else that you really like watching that was on one of his Kentucky teams?
I mean, when I like that time, I was like in middle school, so I was really a fan more than anything. But I just used to hang around those guys all the time, and Julius was one of my favorite players to watch when I was at Kentucky, just because of how physical he is. D Book, I used to see like D Book in practice, like just be D Book that he is now, kind of type. So all those guys, when you're a kid, you just like look at those guys like in awe, especially like all the stuff that they were doing. So, but yeah, my brother's always been my favorite player to watch, no matter what. But just being around all those guys and how they're all like pros now and stuff, like seeing their game translate. I used to take a little bit of everything from everybody. So.
Now, one thing that a lot of guys either have the dad that's in the NBA and they get to kind of witness what that's like, or a brother that's in the NBA or in college, is that seeing other guys that's around them too helps you kind of model your game after someone, kind of grow you as a player too. So how much does that benefit you, like being around a team that's as elite as Kentucky, like you mentioned, a guy like Devin Booker, a guy like Julius Randle, guys like all those type of players? How did that help you in terms of your game, even to today?
I mean, like the main thing I just took away from that was like, I think like around that time I was like kind of falling in love with basketball a lot, and the thing that I took away from those guys the most is just how hard they worked. Like those 2 days, like 3 days, like getting in the gym in the morning, like practice is not the only workout of your day. Like if anything, that should be like the least workout of your day. You got to get in there once or twice, even after practice and weights. You know what I mean? So if anything, the work ethic I just took away from those guys and how they prepared mentally and physically, like approaching the game. So I think that's the main thing I took away from them.
There's another guy that you got to be around quite a bit because he's a big Kentucky fan, and that's Drake. You have a lot of pictures about him. I know you guys have a kind of relationship there too. Walk us through that a little bit. Like, what was like getting to know Drake?
Yeah, that's my guy, man. He's cool people. That's like family. You feel me? So he's cool. He's a real genuine guy. So it's everybody looks at him like Drake, but he's just family. He's cool.
Do you remember the first time you met him? Like, what was your reaction? What kind of went through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, like, man, I can't remember like the first time I met him, but as you know, like the viral moment, like when we was out in California and we was all at dinner or whatever, and I fell asleep at the table. And he had took that picture, and that just went crazy. So that's probably my most memorable moment with him. But like I said, that's family stuff,
Absolutely. Well, if we go into your own life, obviously going back to that, like you said, you grew up in Brooklyn. You went out to Florida for a little bit when you went to Montverde, and also then you went to Georgia. It's three of the biggest hotbeds of basketball. It's three of the biggest power-producing places for basketball recruits and basketball talent. So what was like being a part of three of the biggest areas of basketball?
Just you're gonna face the best of the best in every state, and I'm a real competitive guy, so going against the best of the best in like every state, like you said, those states breed some of the best athletes. So just going around and being a part and learning, kind of like every state and coast play a certain way. So I kind of feel like I kind of took a little bit from every coast, and that's kind of what created me to be the player I am today. And it's crazy because like I'll go against guys that I've gone against like in middle school or something, but now we're older now. So it's like real neat. It's cool. It's like one of those cool kind of things where, it's just you just I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a cool thing.
So if you had to rank 3 states, New York, Florida, Georgia, what are you ranking the 3 states? Like, what's the order of the best basketball states?
Best basketball, I'm gonna have to go New York, Georgia, and then Florida for sure.
Let's kind of go through that transition then. You go from New York to Florida. What led to that? Like, well, obviously you go to Montverde then, but what kind of led to that transition for you?
Yeah, just Montverde. Kevin Boyle, he coached my brother at St. Pat's, so that's like family there, and he's the best. He's the best of the best. So of course you want to be coached by the best. So that's kind of why I went to Florida.
I think everyone kind of knows what Montverde is at this point. They're probably the biggest, them IMG, okay, like they're in that mix for like the biggest prep school right now in the country. But being a part of a prestigious organization that's produced guys like D'Angelo Russell, obviously guys like Ben Simmons, all the list goes
Yeah,
on of guys. Like, what was it like just being a part of that and being around some of those type of guys?
man, it's crazy because like when you go to Montverde, it's just like you're around the cream of the top or whatever. So just being around those guys every day, it's like you know you're gonna get so much better there. Like just naturally, just practicing against those guys, working out with those guys every day. You're gonna get naturally better. So I think uh, I see my game grow the most while I was out there. Um, yeah, Montverde is just one of the top high schools in the country. Like it speaks for itself. Like when you go there, your game's just gonna grow so much. So I think my game has grown the most when I was out there for sure.
How does Coach Boyle do that? Because, like you said, he is, if not the most elite, he's, I mean, at least in the conversation for the best high school coach you can possibly go to. What's about him? Like, how does he develop guys and not just get them to the college level, but get a lot of guys that eventually become pros? Like, what's the system? What's like as a coach? How does he make guys that talented?
Uh, he's like Muss. It's just 24/7 basketball with him. Like,
Mhm.
man, if you ever met Coach Boyer or had a conversation, it's definitely like it doesn't matter where it starts, it's gonna end with basketball. So when you kind of have like a passion for something, like no matter what it is, if you have a passion for that one thing, like you're gonna master it eventually. You know what I mean? So I think he just mastered basketball, honestly, and he's a great coach, great mentor, great teacher. So he's just gonna have everybody around him get better.
In your time there, who would you say was some of the guys that you like going up against, whether it be a practice matching up or guys that kind of help mentor you? Like, who are some of the biggest people that you kind of competed with at your time in Montverde?
At my time in Montverde, I used to play against like man, I used to go against some. I used to practice in like Maceo, Teague, Simi Shatu, RJ was there, Marcus Carr was there, Sean Hollins was there. Man, we used to have a squad. Bruno Fernando was there, like Silvio, man, we used to have a squad at Montverde. So every day, even EJ Montgomery was there. Like every day, it was just you're going up against all those guys are pros, or you know what I mean. So you're going up against the best. So that really that helped me out. Iron sharpens iron at the end of the day.
Who is your favorite guy to go up against out of all those guys? Like, was there one guy that you really want to match up with each day at practice?
Yeah, probably like my bro Simi. Like Simi's game is so versatile. He's so nice. So I just used to like going up against Simi a lot.
We knew that RJ was a special player. Obviously, was one of the only guys to come out of high school as a 1,000 overall ranked recruit. But when you see him, obviously, it's never guaranteed to pan out in the NBA to become a superstar, no matter what your high school ranking is. But did you see him like being this special? Like, did you think RJ would be as good as he is today?
Yeah, RJ, like he's been a pro since high school. You know what I mean? So when you kind of know like guys have a pro mentality, how like they approach the game and stuff like that. So RJ's been a pro since high school.
You ultimately then make the move to come out to Georgia. Then walk us through that because that's where you start building your own name. You really start going off. You really create your own legacy. Then walk us through that move and why you chose to go out there.
Yeah, my mom got a teaching job in Atlanta, and one of my old coaches, Greg McClare, just got a new coaching job at Holy Spirit Prep, and he wanted me to come out there. So it was just a perfect fit all around. I mean, I didn't want to leave my verb, but it was just a perfect fit, like for me and starting to like build my own name and you know what I mean, get my name out there too. So I think it worked out perfect. I mean, I got 2 state championships. I really, you know what I mean? Like I can't complain at all about my time at Holy Spirit. So
Getting to state championships is not an easy task anywhere in the country, but especially in a state like Georgia. So how are you going to
Man.
achieve that? Like, walk us through getting those two state championships.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a great coach, and then my junior and senior year, my game like took off. So, and then I had good teammates. I mean, my senior year was easy. I had Ann on my team, and I had some guys, Jariq Walker, Kai Jeremiah, Miles Wallace, Michael Mee. We had a squad. Georgie. We had a pretty good team. So we had a national schedule, and we were kind of building our name in Georgia, with like beating some of the top teams in Georgia, and we just a new school like coming in, so it was kind of fun doing it. And just those times, I'll never forget those times. It feels like such a long time ago, but I'll never forget those times.
So when would you say it clicked for you? Like, when did you start saying, okay, I'm a guy that I think can play at the next level. I'm a great player. I can make a legacy at the college level. Like, when did it all start kind of coming together for you?
Man, I kind of always knew it. Just growing up watching my brother, you know what I mean. So I just knew if I worked hard and followed in his footsteps, I could kind of do some of the same things that he was doing.
So like you said, you guys kind of form a super team out there and you develop, you get your own role. But what was it like kind of playing alongside like an ant, playing alongside some of the other guys? Like, what are those practices like?
Yeah, those practices are intense. I mean, it's fun though. Like we would go out and like y'all gonna have to guard. Like, you know what I mean? Like y'all gonna have to figure this out. Like
Hmm.
we got a little squad with us. So like it was kind of cool just going up against, like you said, Georgia, man, those like 2018, like Georgia basketball was it. Like best in the country. So being a part of that was fun too.
In Georgia, who was the favorite team to go up against or the favorite matchup you had, like personally, like one guy in the state, who do you enjoy going up against the most?
Um Probably like McEachern. We never beat McEachern though. Like 2 years, like we used to go to over. I know my junior year we went to overtime, and we probably would have got them if I didn't foul out.
Mhm.
But my junior and senior year, like McEachern was always the hypest game. Like I don't know why, but McEachern was hype. Wheeler, when we played Wheeler, it was a pretty good matchup too. So I think those are my two like favorite teams to play.
My last one, high school before getting into recruiting process is you look at all the teammates you play with throughout your high school career, rank them in order. Like, who would you say is your starting five, like the best teammates you had throughout your high school career?
I couldn't even do that. I couldn't. You gotta get me in trouble, man. You gotta have people at the end. Nah, I'm playing. My five, I off the top, I don't even know, but probably like um, Ant, Amacio for sure. Cassius, Winston. Uh, who else? Cassius, Ike, Eke, and probably like Simi. I'm not even gonna count the Montverde guys though, because you know what I mean. But Simi for sure.
No doubt. We go through this recruiting process and you ultimately choose to head out to Arkansas Little Rock. And at that point, the whole coaching changed. We know Coach Durrell walks in and he gets that job and you're one of his first commits. So what led you to go there? Like, why is Arkansas Little Rock the school that you chose?
They just gave me an opportunity to be myself. Come in. A lot of schools wanted me to go to prep school because of my age and stuff, but he just gave me an opportunity. He said straight from the gate I would play. So it was kind of one of those situations where it was just a good fit.
That's interesting because that's what a lot of guys might do. Say take an extra year to develop, and especially because
Yeah.
you clearly have the high major potential. That's why you're at Arkansas now. But what led you to do that? Like, why did you ever consider taking a prep route, or did you just kind of say like, once you got that Division 1 offer, like that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely wanted. I looked at taking the prep route. Obviously, a
Mhm.
lot of big schools were recruiting me, and they wanted me to just to go like one semester and then start. But I just kind of like felt like Coach Walker took a chance on me, and it most definitely paid off. So
Mhm.
I think it was just the right route to go.
That freshman year was a little bit up and down in terms of the whole team together, 10-21 record. You had some
Yeah.
great games, some games obviously you were kind of struggling, but walk us through the ups and downs of that freshman campaign for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you just get thrown in the fire. Like I said, I was playing like, Sunbelt was an older league that year, freshman year too. And our team never could like really get healthy and like just like on a roll kind of type of thing. And then, freshman year, you're gonna go through your ups and downs just as a player, just being a freshman. So yeah, freshman year was kind of just a learning process. We just got thrown in the fire. Um, Sophomore year, we just flipped that thing around. Like sophomore year, we just learned everything. Like we get how this college basketball thing works kind of now. So it's just like, let's go out and hoop type thing.
There's a guy on your freshman team that is now in the NBA, Rajon Tucker. What was it like playing with him?
Yeah, that's my guy. Ray John was like big in my. We still talk to this day. Like, he was like a big mentor in this like college game. Like, just like learning. Like a friend. Like when I tell you I'm a sore loser, like I hate losing. So throughout that whole year, he would just keep my head up, just tell me like, dude, like this happens. Like you're a freshman. You know what I mean? So like he would like, man, we talk to this day every day. Like he comes over to my house whenever he's in Atlanta. So like that's family right there. That's like, man, that's family. That's all I can say about that one.
He did something that's not the easiest thing for a lot of guys coming out of Little Rock and going to the NBA is not always the easiest route to take. But how
Yeah.
special was he, like day in, day out at practice, a pro at your level? Like, what was he like in the day-to-day life in terms of ultimately becoming a pro? Like, what was his mentality, his work ethic? Like, take us to that side of him.
Yeah, he a dog, so when you a dog, you're gonna figure out a way, just like you could see in his NBA career, like, I mean, he's gonna work for his spot and he's a dog. And I think he's gonna have a long, great NBA career and the best is ahead of him for sure. Practicing against him every day was competitive, I'm a winner and he's a winner, and we're both dogs going at it. So those practices used to be super intense, but it was all love at the end of the day for sure. But going to war with him, man, you good.
Eventually that season, you end up getting the starting job. It gets handed down to you. What was that time like, and how did coach come and present that job to you?
I mean, I was just working. That was just all work. So the work just showed, and once I got it, you just kind of keep it, and you try to keep it, and then you just play your best games are ahead of you once you figure it out.
One of those best games of your freshman season, probably the best one, was your 15-point outing. Also had 6 rebounds that game against South Alabama. How much did that game really help your confidence overall long term, kind of having that as a big game in your freshman season?
Yeah, I mean, South Al was like kind of like our little rival. Like every time we seen them, we was just talking trash to each other all the time and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it was like a big game. Like that was like our big game, and I step up in big games. So uh, you know, today it was just like when it comes to confidence, like when you're a freshman like that, you just need a couple games like that to get you going and show that you belong, and you know what I mean. So that was a good one, but I don't even remember that game honestly.
Like you said earlier, you literally flipped the next season. You guys go 10-21 your freshman season, then flips over 21-10 your second year. How'd you guys have that big of a switch? Because that's really rare to completely flip the record around. What led to that drastic change?
Man, I feel like it was just the summer. Like as a team, we just all got together. We are like, yo, like we need to put in this work this summer. We can't have a year like last year. That's what I really told myself. So I put in work. I was up in Chicago working out with my guy Bays and man, DB and all of them, and they got my body right, my mind right, and we just went into this season. Me, Marquise, and Rue kind of led the way, and we just told ourselves we weren't going to lose.
And you go out there and you average 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and half a block a game. You also are make third team All Sun Belt. Having that good of a season obviously leads to transferring eventually to Arkansas. But for that season, like, is that what you expected? Did you expect to do more than that year? Like, or did that meet your expectations? Was it less than? Like, how did you feel about your sophomore season?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to win, honestly. I'm not even like big on numbers or anything like that. As long as we're winning, I'm good. So that was just the main part about my sophomore year. The numbers was good, the accolades were good, but as we winning, I got a ring. That's all I really care about.
There are 2 games I want to touch up on. One was a pretty much historic game for your school. You had 30 points, 13 rebounds, also went 14 for 16 from the free throw line, 5 assists against UT Arlington. Take us to that game a little bit.
Yeah, UT. I mean, if I remember that game right, Rue fouled out in the second half, and it was a close game. And I think Marquise fouled out, maybe. I think Marquise fouled out too in that game, second half. So it was, and Jazik pulled through in that game big. And UT, we were at home, start off the year. I was like, man, we can't start off the year losing. So I kind of had a little takeover badge that game. So that was a memorable game. But it was, yeah. When it comes to like, school and setting numbers, I always like look to do that because you just want to be remembered for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a big game for us. It kind of started us on the right path.
One thing I love about your game is that you are a 6'7" guy, 6'8" range. So you can run up a lot of positions on the court, but you become an elite rebounder. You get a guy that's averaging about 7, 8 rebounds every time you step
Yeah.
on that court. You have multiple double-doubles. How have you learned to become such an efficient, dominant rebounder while not being the tallest guy at all times?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have to play against my brother. You feel me? And my brother's 7 foot, so I'm not tall, but if anybody tell you, I'm strong. So it was just, I'm gonna get my boards for sure.
This kind of sidetracks a little bit, but going back to Dakar, like you said, there is a huge height difference. Same story for my brother and I. My brother's 6'7", 6'8". I'm 6'1".
Man,
But have you ever got jealous of extra height, and how did you kind of handle a guy
man,
being like 6 inches taller?
if I had a couple, like, dude, if I was 7 foot right now, imagine that. But nah, it's, I'm here. I'm just glad I got over 6'6". You know what I mean? So I can't complain.
So in terms of versatility, though, how have you learned to do that? Because you're a guy that can probably switch on just about every position, if not all of them, and stay at a high level. How have you learned to become
Yeah.
versatile when you're on the court?
I mean, just growing up, like all the trainers, they just used to be like, you might not get as tall as your brother, so we're gonna have to focus on these guard skills. And I grew sophomore year of high school. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really a big until my junior year, honestly. So it kind of just like I've always learned like you have to know how to play 1 through 5, guard 1 through 5. So I've always kind of kept that mentality when stepping on the court.
Now, that final year at Little Rock, you guys were good enough to where you guys would have been going to the tournament had COVID not come into effect. You guys win the championship. But that's ultimately, like I said, that's the end goal you guys want. You guys want to win a championship that year, win your conference, go to the big dance. You guys achieved that. So what was it like kind of knowing that you accomplished that team goal that you guys want to achieve?
Yeah, I mean it was a good feeling. Obviously, like COVID kind of ruined everything, but I mean, as a team, like we just had to like there was no other like you know what I mean. Like it was out of our control. So just like knowing that we accomplished everything that we set out through the summer it was a feeling, man. It was a great feeling.
So once COVID sets in, then like take us to the summer. Obviously, each basketball player approaches it differently because it's a lockout and you don't know exactly how much time. We know it ends up being 6 or 7 months, but what
Yeah.
was your mindset? It's your off season. It's no other team workouts. It's just yourself. What's the biggest things you keyed in on?
Yeah, like all the gyms were closed and stuff like that. So I mean, it was kind of like it was fun for me, honestly, because it was kind of just like now you're just working with what you have. It kind of felt like when you were younger, you're just in the garage getting your garage working, in the driveway, getting your ball handling and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it sucked not being in the gym, but it's kind of like you're getting back to your roots a little bit. So I must definitely kind of my body like transformed crazy.
So was Dakari able to come back home and work out with you, or was he still stuck out
Yeah,
there?
yeah. So Dakari actually he was playing in China when all of this happened.
Mhm.
So they kind of knew a little bit earlier than us. So he actually flew in and caught one of my college games, which never happens
Mhm.
before like everything shut down. He kind of caught like one of the last home games, which was kind of cool for me. But yeah, like we were just in the garage every day, just like, you know, getting your garage work in, like push ups, sit ups. We lifting like the dumb like we're benching, but it's like metal weights. Like it was fun. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it was kind of fun.
So then it comes to this time and the school year starts and whatnot, and you decide to put your name in the portal and you choose Arkansas. But why is it the school you chose? Like, why did you want to go become a Razorback?
I mean, man, when you look at college basketball history, like Arkansas has a stamp in it. You know what I mean? And I know Coach Muss, and I know what he's trying to build here. And man, I just wanted to be a part of it.
This obviously is a team that is elite. We saw it during the deep tournament run they had. Like you said,
Yeah,
the head of this all is because of Coach Muss. He's a fun, energetic coach, one of the best up and coming, one of the best coaches in period right now. So like, being able to just talk to him, how did he convince you? And just what were your talks like with him when you was recruiting
man.
you?
And Coach Muss can sell anything. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Man, it didn't take it. Man, I was convinced. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of Zoom calls with a lot of schools, but Coach Muss definitely stuck out to me, and they were on me. Like they were blowing up my phone every day. So man, it was kind of easy. They had it in the bag for sure.
If you remember back, was there a number two option? Like, was there another school you heavily were considering?
Nah, it was Arkansas for sure.
So you get on campus, and eventually they say that all guys that transfer could come in, but since you started the season out somewhere else, you weren't able to. But the biggest
Yeah,
benefit about that is obviously I love the new rule. Guys can just come out and play right away. But there's a benefit of sitting out. You can get the playbook down a lot better. You can get comfortable with the campus, the university, the school, the system. So how much did this help benefit you now? Being around this past team for a year now, how did that help groom you and develop you over the past 6 or 7 months?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, this team was a great team. Like they made an elite eight run. You know what I mean? So just being practicing against those guys, being on scout, getting those guys prepared for games, learning everybody else's plays in the SEC. So it was just a lot of prep work. Um, you get this time to just work. You got to respect the grind. You got to trust the process. Obviously, I wish I could have played this year. I think, man, I just wish I could have played this year, like the things we could have done. But you just got to trust the process. You really can't cry over spilled milk, really. So it's just all motivation for next year, honestly.
You kind of got like the coach's eye for the whole year now. You kind of got to see the way these guys develop. So I want to ask
Yeah.
a couple different guys, one of which is Moses. We know he's going to the NBA. He's going to be a top 10 pick, as high as probably number 6, 5 or 6, something like that. But how special was he that first day you walked on campus, you saw him working out, the way he was playing at practice? Like, did you think he'd have as good of a season as he had?
Yeah, I mean, some guys you could just tell that are pro, and Mo's a pro. Like Mo's a pro. Like his game's gonna translate crazy to the league.
Yep.
His best days are ahead of him too. Like Mo's a pro. Mo's a pro.
The other guy is Devo, which I'm been super high on for the past couple of years of him in high school. We see kind of develops. He gets some bench role for the first half of the season, starts developing, get a heavy 6-man role, then starts and we know what he did from there. How was like kind of seeing that? Like, what was like seeing the way he developed over the course of the year,
Yeah,
and how special also is Devo?
man, watching Devo like his year, man, crazy, like the craziest year I've personally seen any college basketball player have. Like, but the way he works is crazy. Like, man, Devo stays in the gym. You know what I mean? So he definitely deserves everything that's coming his way. I think Devo is a pro too, and I think Devo is going to be one of the best college basketball players next year too. So, man, I'll go to war with him any day. He knows he can go to war with me any day too. So next year is going to be fun. I'm excited to step on the court with him too.
Well, let's look into this upcoming season because obviously fans look at it and say, okay, we're losing a lot of guys because the seniors are moving on. In Moses' case, he's going to the pros. But this whole team now is kind of coming back that we see some pieces. You're coming back, Devo, Jalen, a couple other guys. And then also we know all the transfers coming in, Stanley, Chris, all them. How
Yeah,
special is this team looking right now? Like, how good do you think this Arkansas team can be this year?
man, we're going to be good. I mean, I think the two freshmen that you just mentioned, Devo and Jay Will, coming in with the transfers, and me and JD, of course, and Connor, like we're gonna be good. And the way like the mentality is already, like, man, we're happy with our Elite Eight, but we're hungry for more for sure. You know what I mean? So that's kind of mentality around here. We all been working. Like it's no fun. Like there's fun, it's summertime, but it's not too much fun going on here. We still working.
Mm-hmm. So we do know that no team's exactly alike. So obviously last team was Elite Eight run. What's different about this team? Like, what's the differences and similarities too between last year's team and this year's team?
I mean, this year's team really hasn't, we haven't really stepped on campus yet. I mean, the guys who have been here, we still have to like form as a team, kind of, the transfers and everybody. But I know the guys that are here who have been here, who experienced last year, they're just hungry for more, really, honestly. That's all I could say. Like, it's just been nonstop work here. Like, if you walk into the gym at 8 a.m, you're going to see somebody working out. And if you walk into the gym at 10 p.m., you'll probably see somebody working out. That's kind of the environment here. That's kind of the energy and the culture that we're building. So I think that's really big for us, and it's going to pay off next year for sure.
I know Arkansas fans are excited to see you. They love this past season, but everyone knew that you're sitting on the end of the bench. I'm excited
Yeah,
what you can bring. So kind of give fans a little preview. Like, what can they expect from you? What will you bring to Arkansas this upcoming season?
man, toughness, heart, a will to win. I'm a big winner, so I don't like losing. I'm a big winner. Versatility, rebounding, of course, get into the foul line, stuff like that. But mostly, a lot of wins.
You've obviously talked with Coach Musk quite a bit, I can imagine, about what he wants from you too. So what kind of role does he want you to play? Is it going to be kind of a starting role, a key bench piece? Like what kind of production does he want you doing? Like what does Coach Musk expect for you this year?
Pretty much just do anything to help the team win. Pretty much, you know what I mean? No matter what role it is, we kind of really haven't really talked about any roles yet. The team is still forming, so but I'm just gonna do anything I can do to help the team win.
Now, he has pulled it off multiple times because he's always heavily getting guys to transfer in from different schools. But when you come in this year, it should be easier than last year with hopefully no COVID restrictions. But how do you guys do that? When you talk about bringing in a whole bunch of new guys in the team, along with a couple of returners, how do you guys get chemistry so early on and kind of get rolling right at the gate?
Kind of just hanging. I mean, the biggest piece to me is just like off the court stuff. You
Mhm.
know, when you guys are like a family off the court, all the on court stuff is gonna get taken care of. So when everybody gets here, that's kind of like our main thing. We're probably just gonna spend time as a team together and build chemistry. And you know, when you're a family off the court, you're a family on the court, vice versa. So.
Mhm. Is there one word to describe you, like the whole package of you, both on and off the court? Like, what's the one word that describes Kamani Johnson?
Man, probably. I don't know. I'll probably say like active. I'm always doing something. You know what I mean? Like if you're in Faye, you're always gonna see me somewhere doing something. So I'll probably say active.
Without a doubt, man. Well, a couple more things before I let you go. One of which is discussing a legacy. That's something I know that all guys want to build for themselves. So when you are done playing basketball someday, what do you want to remember it for what you achieve both on and off the court?
Man, just winning pretty much, just being a winner. You know, I have a pretty good collection of rings. So hopefully I can add on to those and just be known as somebody who stepped on the court, gave it all and won.
No doubt, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Arkansas fans your three biggest goals you have set for your Arkansas career.
Well, for my Arkansas career, I definitely want to like win the SEC, you know, win the championship, make a deep tournament run like last year for sure. Um, and just leave. I mean, when you're an Arkansas Razorback, you learn like early, like you're gonna be treated like, dude, they love like their Razorbacks here. So I'm just sure I'm just gonna hopefully be a player that they could be proud of. That's one of my goals for sure.
Absolutely, man. Well, I definitely appreciate taking time to come on today, and I'm excited to see what God got next for you, man. Of
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you, bro.
course, always welcome on, man. God bless.
Same to you.